Hey guys, it's Zem from Sherry Gaming again, bringing another review of a Tier 4 premium plane, the X4F-3. So, what is this? This is actually the prototype for the F4F, which is the Tier 5 American fighter. The XF4F-3 was actually kind of a derivative off of the F3F. These planes, Grumman's F3F, lost out to the Brewster Buffalo in a fighter competition, and in reply to that, they produced which would become essentially the Wildcat, the F4F. So this was actually a brand new plane. After the failure of their F3F, the F4F3 became the prototype for the F4F. So, and it's a Wildcat. So we are. I mean, this was one of the most produced planes by the U.S. Navy. They've produced it all during the war, even when it was somewhat outdated by the Hellcat and the Corsair. They still use these planes. It was a Navy fighter. Flew off the aircraft carriers early in the war. This was the main fighter for the United States Navy. Later in the war, it flew mostly off of escort carriers because of its small size. It was able to operate off smaller carriers, and this was kind of one of the reasons why it was actually kept around, even though it was, with the Hellcat and the Corsair being faster, more maneuverable. This plane was still being used. When it matched up against the Zeros at the time, this plane really didn't have anything going for it. The Zero was faster, more maneuverable. They actually ended up developing a certain technique that the U.S. Navy did, which was called the Thatch Weave, and it was specifically it was designed to take advantage of some of the F3s, the F4s. You know, the good things about it. It was a very tough plane. It could take a lot of damage, and still keep flying. With the Thatch Weave, it was using two F4s working in unison, and one being the bait, trying to get in a Zero to drop in behind him, and the other F4 simply using kind of like a half figure eight, bringing it, making nice gentle wide loops, letting the Zero get in behind the other one, and the other Wildcat falling behind, and knocking him off the tail or shooting him down. Worked quite well actually, and believe the Thatch Weave was still used in the Vietnam War. That's how successful it was. More along the lines of using aircraft that are not very maneuverable against maneuverable aircraft. This worked quite well. So that's what we get here. So what's the difference between the F4F3 and the F4F? Obviously, this is the upgraded version. So it's got the bigger engine, and it also has the bigger firepower. So it has the 650s, and it actually does carry some ordnance. You can get up the rockets and whatnot. The F4F3, it only gets actually four 7.62s, so it's a little weak firepower wise, but it's still pretty good aircraft. If you like the F4F, obviously 650s is quite a bit more firepower, but as an actual it's a tier 4 and it's a premium, so you get what you get. Typically I run improved covering on it, buff up that nice beefy aircraft. I put the radiator on it. You want to use this, and once again, kind of an energy fighter. It is fairly maneuverable. Nothing, of course, like the Zeros or the Russian planes. So it's got an all right boost, to get up there. But you want to keep this up altitude, up down. Vertical fighter, not much of a horizontal. Make a pass, get out. And I put the gyroscopic improved reflector sight on it because of the spacing of the machine guns. So this kind of helps it up to group up that that machine gun fire. Other than that, like I said, this is essentially the first what would become the Wildcat. History-wise, I do believe there was some difference in the cowling. Was the big difference between this and the production F4. I'll have to look on that. This also was a great improvement over the F3, which still had the crank up, hand cranked. You actually had to hand crank your wheels up. This one didn't have to. But you can see some of the relation here, at least between the F3 and the F4F-3. Obviously the landing gear and whatnot. So yeah, this is essentially was an answer to losing out to the Brewster Buffalo in a fighter competition, and it ended up being quite a great aircraft. I mean, there was some accounts of Japanese fighter pilots going, this thing's it's tough, it's hard to shoot down, because of its how well it was armored, self-sending fuel tanks and whatnot. So it at least had that going. It was, like I said, not very maneuverable, not the most powerful thing. And obviously that by the time the F4 matured, later into the war, it became a much better aircraft. But it was used extensively by the Navy, even all the way to the end of the war, even after itself was somewhat obsolete. So I got one game in this aircraft. It was actually my very first game in it, and it surprised me. I really did enjoy the airplane. So I will bring that replay right about now. Hey guys, back with a replay with the F4F3. We have a top tier match. A couple fours, the rest all threes. So we're out here on the ocean, kind of, yeah, that works. Like I said before, kind of it's definitely what you call an energy fighter, especially at this tier. Everything, if you do run into some threes that have much more maneuverable aircraft, get high, drop on things, and then boost back up to altitude. Stay out of any kind of turn fight, any horizontal fight with Japanese planes. Or actually, a lot of these planes here, they turn better than this thing. So, get up to about 6,000 feet. It does have a decent, I shouldn't say, it has decent boost for a tier 4. It can get you up to where you need to be. I typically like to play, these kind of fighters. I really like to jump on heavies if I can get a chance. You're going to see me drop down pretty quick in this match just because everybody else is, and I hate sitting watching teammates getting shot down while I'm playing up here on the high altitude. So I'll play this not quite like I should play it, but I'm more times than not, if you spend too much time at altitude, you're not going to help your teammates. So I see this AT-112 has got a friendly fighter in his sights, so I drop altitude pretty quick, and I'm going to try to get in behind him here and try to help out this friendly right here. So coming on the HE, try to shed a little bit of speed so I don't overrun him like I did anyway. Pull up, weave a little bit, like I said, try to drop a little speed, try to get him in front of me. All over the place with my shells today. Anyway, knock him out, save my teammate, pull up, get another plane. He's not looking at me, so I always like these passes on these kind of planes. They have no idea that I'm coming. He's kind of flying a little bit out ahead of me, and a little bit off to one side. Get a good round into him, pull up, get a little altitude, pull over, back down on him, and pull up again. He's almost dead anyway. Pull him around, get the last 5 hit points off of him, knock him out. See the BF-110. I'm probably going to catch him just because of his speed. He's, you know, he's dropping altitude. Now I'm trying to. I was thinking about going here to help these guys, but the BF-110 pulls back off on her. And like I said, I did see him do it, so I kind of had an idea what he was up to. Pull over. You know, he's annoying the hell out of me. So, yeah, he's my next target. He goes low, pulls off the side a little bit, get in behind him, finish him off, pull up. There's another AR-80s right where I want him. Pull back in on him, put a few shells in him, try to keep him going, you know, slow down a little bit, lead him a little bit, get out, kill him, pull back up again. I love these target-rich environments. P-35 kills a teammate. Instead of pulling into me, pulls off to the side, pulls down, and he ends up getting smoked, leaving us the BA-27M left, which is, you know, more maneuverable than I am, but he decides not to try to get into a fight with me. Instead of pulls off, give me his rear, finish him off, get my ace, and by this time most of my engines cooled down. Well, I could go chase the XF4F-3, but he's way out there, and there's far more hit points to be had over here on this, on these lovely, lovely ground fighters, or ground attack planes. So we'll speed it up a little bit, get us across the map. Now, this is actually piloted by a human, so I have to be a little bit more careful with this. You never know, sometimes these guys actually shoot back at you. Pull in, start pummeling him. Now, I pull up and over, and what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to bleed airspeed. I can, you know, I can push flaps, I can throttle down, all that kind of stuff, but I really like to be a little bit slower. He pulls out ahead of me a little further than I expected, so I actually didn't end up bleeding as much energy as I wanted. He's dead. Now on to the BSH-1. He's already over here. Pull around on him. Got a skua with me. Now this BSH-1 is of course the bot, so you never know what you're going to get. You know, you might get the one that's actually going to fire back at you, or the one that just simply just keeps strafing and bombing things and is kind enough to die for you. So coming at 200 miles an hour, I could take a dive on him, but then I'm going to end up have to make another pass on him. Flip over, try to lose a little bit of speed. You know, got flaps extended, engine down, start dropping as much speed as I can so I can stay in behind him. The skua comes in. He's actually got too much speed and is forced to turn away, which leaves me the rest of this guy's hit points. You know, keeping it slow as I can, pummeling him. Hopefully my machine guns will last out long enough to finish him off, which I do. So, hope you guys enjoyed the review and the gameplay, and we'll be posting more shortly.